About a month ago, a company actually approached me after seeing the review which I did for this MOFT phone stand. Now, I really love the MOFT phone stand as you're able to put it on portrait and be able to put it on landscape mode, and not just that, you're able to store cards right here. But I was a little sad as a while ago, the one which I used for my mobile phone actually disintegrated. Now, as I open it up, you can see that actually all the different parts start coming out. This has become a very dangerous weapon as I often wanted to use this as shurikens. So now, make no mistakes, I really love the MOFT phone stand. I like the usage and the material that is used, but unfortunately it's not able to last me for up to a year. Now, this is where today's product will be coming in. Now, this is called the EZL. It's by this company called Plinth, which is actually based in UK. They have sent me 2 different variants to this phone stand, so we're going to be unboxing it and be able to see what comes with it and how we get it installed onto the phone. So here we have 2 different colors, the transparent one and the black one. Now, as the phone that I've currently got is actually in a clear stand, so the transparent will definitely look very good on this. I'm going to be showing you guys how this can be applied, and we're going to have a brief first impression on how this actually works and whether if it's good, and I will recommend it to you guys. So follow me as we install this onto my phone. So here is the thing itself, and let's take a look at the packaging a little closer. As you can see, we're actually using this clear one that's going to be installed onto my mobile phones. So at the back, this is where we open it up. So I think this is actually the installation guide. This first aid. Don't know what's that. And maybe 1 layer of sticker or guide. And the thing itself. So now I think this, we'll just have to open it up. And as you can see, there's actually this transparent tape over here, which doesn't really look very high quality to me. So there you go. So now we have it installed. Let's talk about some of the key features about this little phone stand over here. When we turn to the back, you can see that you can actually open it out and it has 3 increments. 1, 2, and 3. And it has this very interesting little rubber feet over here that I think will definitely help you if you are putting on a flat surface and it will not allow it to slip. Now let's put it on the here. So this is about increment number 2. And I think it really looks rather sturdy. Now this is actually really not bad. Let's take my MOFT for comparison. Okay, let's move all this aside so that you guys can have a clearer look. Yes, so at the back it looks something like this. Now let's see if this one can fit nicely through my fingers. So this one I can just put 2 over it. And this one is a little hard. I'm only able to put 1 finger through it, which I think it might not be a very good thing if you want extra security in terms of holding the phone. Apparently, comparing with the MOFT phone stand, this supports wireless charging due to the material and the small size of it. Now this is only about 2 mm, which is hardly visible. As you can see, my camera can hardly detect due to the very thin size of this phone and the stand itself. Now once you put it at the sides, you can have a clearer idea on how thick or how big this is. Now no doubt one downside, as you can see right from here, is that the MOFT is able to put cards over here, whereas this is not able to, but this itself leaves a very small footprint comparing with this MOFT stand over here. So now that we have the first impressions and unboxing out of the way, I'll be getting back to you guys in about a week's time and let you know my final verdict on what do I think about this EZL stand over here. Hi guys, it's a week later and as you can see, my ulcer is definitely better right now. I'm ready to give you guys the verdict on this Plinth EZL stand. Beginning, I did mention that it's hard to put 2 fingers in, but I've discovered the reason why. So basically, once you want to have it in, you've got to insert your fingers this way through. Now once it's through, look, it's so much steadier. And I've got to say it's much tighter than the one that is on the MOFT. But I guess there are some compromises to this design, but this is definitely not one of them. I really like the way you can put it in and it's rather tight. Even if I flip it this way or feel it around, it still doesn't come off. Comparing with the one that I have for the MOFT, it leaves so much spacing and it becomes a bit weaker. So with that said, let's get on with some of the things which I do not like first. One thing I do not like about this design is that the third notch doesn't fit larger phones such as my S10 Plus. As you can see, it tilts off this way. Only once I adjust it to the second notch, is able to stand by itself. So for all those who have larger phones out there, do take note that this easel stand, you will not be able to adjust up to the third notch, only the first and the second, which might make a difference or might not. Now the second thing which I do not like about this design is that you are unable to operate it using one hand. What do I mean by this? Now let's take for example my MOFT. I can just open it up and set it up using one hand. For this, once you are closed it, locked up, you are unable to open it up, no matter how hard you try, which might be a good thing or a bad thing. Lastly, I'm so spoiled with using this MOFT that you're able to put a card here that this one doesn't have, so I feel a little bit pinched if I were to change it to this one. But as I said, every design has good and bad, so there are compromises to it. But let's get on to what are the things which I like about this easel stand. Now the first thing which I like the most about this easel stand is that the material is rather hardy. It's literally made of plastic, so it's unable to disintegrate over time, comparing with the one which I have on the MOFT, which is of a more cloth design. So in terms of materials, this one would be a much better option if you're planning to use it long term. But to be fair, I've only used this for about a week. Maybe if in a few months time it will fall apart, I do not know, but I'll update you guys as we go along. Now number two is the lock itself. One thing I like is that it's rather tight once you lock it up. Like I mentioned, you're unable to operate it using one hand, but you're also unable to accidentally just push it out, which is rather a good thing if you're planning to put in your pockets and you do not scared that it will entangle up with other items that are in your pocket. Now the last thing, which isn't a big deal, is that they have this clear casing. It fits perfectly with my S10 Plus casing, which is really good. Now I've checked on MOFT website and they do not have any colors that are close to this clear one. The closest they'll have is this light grey, which is still not translucent or doesn't fit well with my casing. So this is just one thing to take note. But they have a few other color options up there, which is definitely more than the one that's on the easel stand. Let's conclude. I would definitely recommend this easel stand. It is really functional and it seems to be able to last quite a long time. But the MOFT itself does still have its own appeal. They have different variety of colors as well as materials, and they even have this new wireless charging option. So depending on what you like, both of them still serve a very common purpose of being able to stand on portrait modes. This one is able to put in cards, whereas this one lasts much longer. So depending on which one you want, it both has its own charms. But let's talk about pricing. This one comes at about 12 USD, while this one comes at about 19 USD. So if you have some bucks to spare, this one might still be a more valuable option for you. Overall, this one looks much cleaner and much simpler comparing with this MOFT one. So I'll say there's no clear winner here. It really depends on what you like. Now if you have enjoyed this video, do give me a thumbs up and subscribe down below. And do ring the bell notification over here if you would like to see more of this kind of videos. If not, I'll see you guys in the next video.